Okay, so we will be continuing with types of support. So second type of support is roller support. Okay, now if you observe, a rod has been shown and a roller has been shown. So these are the different ways in which in numerical a roller support can be shown. So you should know all the ways in which you can see a roller support in numerical. Okay, so here you can see this is roller support, then this is also a roller support. Okay, wheels are shown over here. Similarly, this is also roller support, and this is an inclined plane, and here also we have roller support. So how to show reaction force for roller support? It can only exert force that is perpendicular to supporting surface. Okay, so what is the supporting surface? Here it is horizontal, here also horizontal, here also horizontal. So in all the three cases, here you can see RA, here we have point B, so reaction will be RB. It is perpendicular. Okay, so I can show it here also. It will be like this. So RA is perpendicular to the supporting surface, RB is perpendicular to supporting surface, and here you can see this R, it will be perpendicular to supporting surface, which is inclined. Okay, now one question I'd like to ask, why is there only one reaction in Y direction? Technically, if you see, we can give here three reactions. Okay, Y direction one reaction, suppose this is one reaction, and suppose here one moment is there. So all three can be reactions. Okay, but in roller support we have only one reaction, that too suppose for this figure it is in upward direction. Why is this? We don't have horizontal reaction, we don't have moment in the form of reaction. Why is this? See, now if you, I am giving you the reason now. Okay, now the question is, this reaction I have shown over here, it is in vertical direction only, and it is perpendicular to supporting surface. Why is this? It's not like I have written over here means it should be perpendicular. Okay, there is some background for this. Okay, what is the background? If you see this rod, it is free to rotate about point B. Okay, so this rod can rotate. So basically there is no restriction in rotation. That is why we don't have moment in that direction. Now this support has roller, so it can move in H direction also. That is why we don't have any reaction in H direction. But which direction is restricted over here? Vertical direction. This rod along with this roller, it cannot be pushed in downward direction. That is why there is one reaction in vertical direction. This is the reason. So these are the examples of roller support. Here you can see rollers are there, and we have sliding door, and this is an example of conveyor belt. Here you can see rollers are there, cylindrical rollers are there, and a belt is there, and when the roller rotates, now the belt will also rotate. Next we will see next type of support. It is hinge or pin support. What is the application of hinge? हाँ, जो डोर रहता है उसके बीच में क्या रहेगा? हिंज रहेगा. Okay, so that door, it can rotate about hinge, but can you move the door in horizontal direction? No. Can you move the door in vertical direction? No. It can only have a moment. That is why here in reaction we don't have moment. We have only reaction of horizontal and vertical component. Hinge support, what is meaning of this hinge support? It is also called pin support. Allows free rotation about the pin end, but it does not allow linear displacement. Okay, so if you see this rod, it can rotate about point A. Okay, this rod can rotate about point B. This can rotate about point C. Okay, and so on. But the rod, it cannot move in horizontal direction. It cannot move in vertical direction. Okay, so that is why we have two reactions, VA and HA for point A. If you are considering point B, then we will have VB and HB. Okay, now we will see some examples. And now suppose here we have a hinge Okay, so we have to show two reactions, right? Vertical reaction at point A and horizontal reaction at point A. Now don't worry about the direction, okay, whether HA will be towards right or towards left, whether it will be vertically upward direction or downward direction, that we will see later on. Okay, but suppose HA is towards right, VA is in upward direction, so reaction, net resultant, it will be angular, right? So net reaction, this will be RA. Same thing is shown in this diagram. So here you can see this is net RA, which is basically a resultant of these two components, HA and VA. Okay, now we will see some examples of hinge support. So if you see the door, there are three hinges shown over here. Okay, so this door, it can have a moment about this vertical axis, but it cannot be moved in horizontal direction or vertical direction. Same way here you see laptop. Okay, so in laptop at this location one hinge is there, and here at this location one hinge is there. Okay, then if you consider suitcase, again inside the outside the suitcase, if you see from this side, you will be able to see hinges. So these are the examples of hinge support. Next we will see fixed support. It is also called built-in support. Okay, now fixed support, it neither allows linear displacement nor rotation of a beam. What is beam we will see. So this horizontal member, you can see this is a beam. Okay, now this A, you can see this A is fixed support. In fixed support we have three reactions, HA, VA and moment about point A. Okay, so this is called fixed support. Similarly here you can see at location B we have this rod. It will be having vertical reaction, then horizontal reaction, and see the direction. If you keep your thumb over here, keep your index finger over here, this is anti-clockwise, right? So here reaction should be clockwise. So that is why here moment about point B, reaction has been shown in clockwise direction. Same way, if you see this diagram, okay, this will be HA, this will be VA, and if you keep your thumb at A, if you keep your index finger over here and rotate the arrow in the direction of index finger, this is clockwise. So reaction will be anti-clockwise. Here you can see moment, it is anti-clockwise. So this is fixed support. Now we will compare all the three supports again. What are the three supports which we saw? First one was roller support. Second one, hinge support. And third one was fixed support. In roller support, we have only one reaction in RY direction. We don't have reaction in X direction and we don't have moment as a reaction. Then if you consider hinge support, we have reaction in X direction and Y direction. We don't have moment as reaction. And if you consider fixed support, we have how many reactions? Three reactions. One will be X direction, one will be Y direction, and one will be moment. Okay. Now types of support will continue. Next type is freely sliding support. So here you can see guide has been provided, and inside the guide, that slider, it is having reciprocating motion. Okay, now again for the supporting surface there will be reaction which is perpendicular. Okay, so here you can see this is the reaction and it will be perpendicular to supporting surface. Here also in second diagram, here we will have guide support, for example, and this collar, it is moving in upper and down direction. So reaction will be like this. Okay, it is perpendicular. Next type of support, inextensible string. Okay, what is meaning of this word inextensible string? So basically distance, the dimension of the string, it will remain fixed. Okay, it is not elastic, you can say like that. Okay, it will be, dimension will not change basically. Inextensible string, cable, rope, belt, cord, chain, wire. Okay, everything, for everything this is valid. Okay, so here a diagram is shown, the ceiling is there, here hook is provided, and the sphere, it is attached to the ceiling. Now if I want to draw FBD, how to draw FBD? Understand this, huh? We have to draw arrows like this. This will be arrow and cut it over here. So if you want to show FBD of ceiling part, it will be like this. This will be ceiling, and the tension, it will act in downward direction. Okay, next, if you see the sphere part, if you take FBD of this one, weight is acting in downward direction, and if you see here the arrow is in upward direction, so tension will be in upward direction. So when we are saying rope, string, cable, here we denote the internal force, this force, by tension T. Okay, that is why I am showing over here T. So if you draw the FBD for the ceiling and the hook part, it will be like this. But if you draw FBD of body, it will be like this. So same thing is written here. When you draw FBD of the body and we have a string, the force developed in the rope is always a tension away from the body in the direction of rope. So here you can see this tension T, it is acting away from the body and in the direction of rope. Okay, here you can see this is the direction of rope. So same direction of rope, this tension is there and it is acting away from the body. Next example, here you can see, here also a rope is there. So the tension, it will act in the direction of rope only and it will be away from the body. That is why direction is like this. Next type of support, rope and frictionless pulley. Okay, so again this is a ideal concept. Always a pulley will have friction. Okay, what do you mean by pulley? This is a pulley, and on the pulley there will be a groove through which we can pass a rope. Okay, and here you can see some examples. Example number 1, this one. Okay, here pulley is there and at center we have hinge. Okay, and here this is rope is tied over here, and this rope, it goes over the pulley and here weight is attached, 100 kg. Okay, now how to draw FBD of this one? We have to cut it over here and separate. Now when we are cutting here, we have to draw arrows. Okay, here arrow will be downward, here arrow will be upward. Similarly, here arrow will be downward, here arrow will be upward. So when you draw FBD of this part, it will be like this. When you draw FBD of weight, it will be like this. But when you draw FBD of pulley, it will be like this as shown over here. Now here, what is the mass given? 100 kg. Okay, so 100 multiplied by 9.81, you will get tension as 981 Newton. Now as discussed before, when rope is there, that tension, it will act along the rope. So here you can see same direction tension is acting and it is acting away from the body. Okay, now since here the rope is fixed, so in this rope also you will have tension and the magnitude of tension will be same. Then only this rope will be in equilibrium, right? Otherwise what will happen if this weight is more? This might break and the weight will fall down immediately. Okay, but that is not the case over here. This weight is being balanced. Okay, system is in equilibrium. We are talking about equilibrium. Okay, so that is why if here we have 981 Newton, here also we will have 981 Newton. So basically here wherever rope is attached, it is basically taking all the load. Okay, whatever weight you are attaching over here, that load is directly taken over here. Okay, this is the meaning of this diagram. Then second diagram, if you see this one, again the tension direction, it is along the direction of rope and away from the body. Okay, and magnitude, if you see both the tension magnitude, it is same. Okay, why? Because rope is there, na, same rope is there, that is why. Okay, in third diagram also you will see same thing, tension will be in this direction away from the body and magnitude of tension is same. And in all the three diagrams, if you see, center is hinge. Okay, so in center there will be two reactions, HAVA, here also we have HAVA, here also we have HAVA. See, if there is friction, what will happen, there will be some here, that analysis will be different. Here you have to consider mu. Okay, here there will be mu. So that part we are not going to study. Okay, next. Now this is a bit, here we are not basically showing the concept of type of support. Here we are looking at transfer of tension of rope of frictionless pulley from circumference to center of pulley. So basically if you see the figure number 1, okay, observe figure number 1, this one. Okay, here a pulley is there, center is hinge, and this rope is tied over here and weight is acting over here 100 kg in downward direction. So what will be the direction of tension? It will be along the rope. Okay, so this will be tension, this will be tension. Okay, and what will be magnitude? 100 into 9.81. So tension magnitude will be same on both the ends. Okay, and at the center we have hinge. So I have shown HA and VA, two reactions. Now next diagram, if you see, now here we have to use the concept which we have seen in module number 1. What was that concept? Transferring of a force to a different point. How to transfer that? As it is, from here you have this T, it will move over here. So this will be T, and if you keep your thumb at A, keep your index finger at T and rotate it in the direction of T. It is anti-clockwise. So here you will get anti-clockwise couple. Next, bottom side we will see. Okay, this is a force. We have to transfer that force at the center, point A. So as it is, we have to transfer. So T will be over here, and then keep your thumb at point A, keep your index finger over here, rotate it in the direction of arrow. It is clockwise. So here clockwise couple will be there. So same diagram, this you can see diagram number 3. This is the same thing which I have shown in figure number 1. This is the tension part which has been shown, and now that tension, it is moved to the center. So as it is, it can move to the center, and these are the two couples which we have to add. Okay, as shown over here, this one and this one. Now these two couples are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, so they will cancel out each other, and finally you will get, this is the tension, this is downward tension, this is vertical reaction, and this is horizontal reaction. So basically, if you consider rope and frictionless pulley, okay, even though tension is along the circumference of the pulley, directly we can transfer it to the center of the pulley. Okay, but it should be parallel. So directly you can move it over here. So this I have moved and this I have moved, and then I can cancel this part. Why? Because whatever net couple is there, after moving this direction there will be C, and this direction it will be C. So they are cancelling each other. So this is cancelled, this is cancelled. So we can directly move this. Okay, that is the logic behind directly moving the tension which is there on the circumference of the pulley to the center directly. Here angle is theta and this is alternate angle. From there we got this angle as theta. See what is done. Here you can see frictionless pulley is there and a rope is there. Okay, so tension will act along rope and away from the body. So I have shown here same tension values, and both the tensions are acting in direction of rope. Next thing, what is asked here, you have to transfer tension of rope of frictionless pulley from circumference to center of pulley. So how to do this? This tension part, we will draw a parallel over here. Directly we can take over here tension. Keep your thumb over here at point A, keep your index finger over here, rotate in the direction of tension. So it is anti-clockwise. So here we will have anti-clockwise couple. Now this force tension, it is in downward direction as it is transferred at point A. So here you will have tension 981. Then you have to cancel this. Okay, here also this is cancelled after moving. And what about the moment? Keep your thumb at A, keep your index finger over here, rotate it in the direction of arrow. It is clockwise. So here we have clockwise couple. So this couple is anti-clockwise, this couple is clockwise. And if you see radius, okay, perpendicular distance, this is same, na? It is radius of the pulley. So radius of the pulley is same. So basically this, both the couples are same. So this will cancel out each other. So without even showing this couple, you can directly transfer the tension which is there along the circumference to the center. That is the conclusion from this activity. Okay, next type of support we will see, straight rod supported by knife edge. Okay, so here you can see a diagram has been shown. A triangle. This is a here you can see a knife is there. Okay, this edge is forming a knife. Okay, here this one. So this type of support is called knife edge support. So here you can clearly see that this ruler, it is supported on which type of support? Knife edge support. Okay, similarly here you can see a rod is there and it will be like this. Okay, this support is like this. In 3D if you see, support will be like this. So this is a knife edge support. There will be edge over here. Okay, so knife edge support at B, we have knife edge support at B, and if you see point A, it is smooth surface. Okay, we are not considering friction here. So normal reaction will be perpendicular to the rod. Okay, so if you see this reaction at point B, it is perpendicular to this rod. Weight is acting at CG in downward direction, and there will be vertical reaction at point A. That reaction is perpendicular to the surface like this. So this is knife edge. So knife edge support, what will be the reaction? It will be like this, and this reaction, it will be perpendicular to the rod. Okay, next type of knife edge support we will see, a rigid body. So here you can see a cylinder is there. Okay, and this cylinder, here a block is placed, and the bottom side where the cylinder comes in contact with horizontal surface, it is point B. Center of the cylinder is C, and here basically this cylinder is supported to this knife edge. Okay, here this point, this will be knife edge. Why knife edge? Because here block will be like this. So this edge will form knife edge support. So what is the question? P is just enough to roll the cylinder over rectangular block. So this P is a applied force, and we have to calculate this force. What should be this force when applied at the center of the cylinder? The cylinder, it will just roll over this rectangular block. Okay, now if you want to draw FBD of this, how to draw this? This is knife edge support. Okay, now reaction from this, it will pass through the center, then weight, it will act in downward direction, and this pull force, it is acting from the center. Now here the question is, why all the three forces are acting through center only? To answer this, you should understand two things. First thing is, what is asked over here, P is just enough to roll the cylinder over rectangular block, meaning this is body is in equilibrium, basically, that is given. And second thing is, we have three forces. One force is weight, which is acting along CG. Second is the reaction at knife edge, and third is this pull force P. Now all the three forces are acting at point C, so they are concurrent. Okay, why they are concurrent? Because we have seen three force principle. What is that? For a body to be in equilibrium, if three forces are acting, they should be non-parallel and concurrent force system. So by that, we understand that line of action of this reaction, it passes through the center. Okay, in the question itself, it is given that P is acting from the center, weight, it will act from centroid only, that we know. But what about this reaction? This reaction can act about any point, no? But it acts through C only. Why? Because body is in equilibrium and there are three forces. So by three force principle, three non-parallel forces must form concurrent force system for equilibrium. Now, how to solve this question? You can solve by Lami's theorem, right? But you should be careful. If you see weight, it is having push nature. Why? Because it is acting towards center. Okay, if you see reaction, it is also acting towards center. It is also push nature. But P, it is having pull nature. So you have to adjust the forces. Okay, all the forces you will make it. So you can move this P in this direction. Okay, erase this P, and now you can apply Lami's theorem. Why normal reaction is not there? Because what is written here? It is written that P is just enough to roll cylinder over rectangular block. So basically, when this P is applied, okay, this cylinder, it is just about to roll, meaning here we are not considering normal reaction. That is the reason why we have not shown normal reaction over here. Okay, so only three forces are there, and by three-force principle, these three forces will be non-parallel and they will form concurrent force system. That is why R passes through the center only. किसी ने पूछा ना रिएक्शन आएगा या नहीं आएगा, यहाँ पे रिएक्शन मैंने क्यों नहीं बताया? Because it is given that P is just enough to roll cylinder over rectangular block. So it will go in air na point B. So that is why here there will not be normal reaction. That is the reason why normal reaction is not shown. I'll give you second case. Okay, just to clear the confusion. Suppose we are not showing P force. Okay, this P force is not shown over here, and it is asked that draw FBD of this diagram. Okay, and this P is not there. In that case, what will happen? There will be W, there will be R at knife edge. It will pass through point C only. Why? Because of three-force principle. And at point B, you will have normal reaction. Okay, but since here it is given that P is just enough to roll the cylinder over rectangular block, there will not be normal reaction. There will be P. Okay. Now second example here you can see, again we have a cylinder, a rectangular block is there. We have point B, point C and point A. Now here also force P is applied such that cylinder will just roll about the block. So in this case, what will happen? Weight, it is acting through center. So here you can see weight has been shown. Then reaction. Okay, applied force is at point A. So you can see line of action of all the three forces. Weight is also passing. You can clearly see here, weight is also passing through point A. Okay, in question itself it is given that applied force P is at point A. So that is also passing through point A, and whatever now reaction is there, which is there at knife edge, it will pass through which point? Point A. Why? Because it is given that body is in equilibrium, and by three-force principle, all the three forces must be non-parallel. They must form concurrent force system. That is why all the three forces, weight, R and P, are passing through point A. And again here it is given that P is just enough to roll over the this rectangular block, knife edge support. That is why we are not considering normal reaction at point B. So we have only three forces, we are not considering normal reaction. Okay, four forces are not there. Okay, now I think with the second diagram the concept is clear, because here if you compare here everything is at center, but when applied force it goes to the circumference, then weight is also, you can see line of action of weight, it is also through that point. Reaction at knife edge, it is also through that point. Okay, in that case don't draw the reaction through the center. Next we will see beam. Okay, now this beam, it is mostly you will see, you might have heard this beam in case of building. Okay, so horizontal structure is there. In a structure, horizontal member which takes transverse load in addition to other loading is called beam. Okay, now what do you mean by transverse load? So if you see this is a beam, and center line if you draw to the beam, that will be axis of the beam. Okay, so if you apply load along the axis, that is called axial load, and if you apply a load perpendicular to the axis, that is called transverse load. So transverse load means load perpendicular to length of the beam. Okay, so this you can see, this is length of the beam. and to this length of a beam, if we draw perpendicular, so this vertical load, that is called which type of load? It is called transverse load. Okay, so beam is a horizontal member in a structure which takes which type of load? Transverse load. Okay, now if you see this part, this is vertical, so this is called column. Vertical member in a structure, it is called column. Horizontal member in a structure, it is called beam. Beam takes transverse load. Okay, now here you can see example has been shown of transverse loading. Okay, this is a beam AD, and here you can see second beam AC. Okay, now if you see first example, here there are concentrated loads. What do you mean by concentrated load? At point B only this P1 load is acting, and point C only P2 load is acting. That is called concentrated load. The second load, it is called distributed load. What do you mean by distributed load? Here you can see uniformly over the length of the beam. Okay, from A to B, this uniformly the load is acting, and here it is uniformly varying load. Okay, so up to this part it is uniform load, and this here you can see a triangle is there on the top side, that is uniformly varying load. Okay, we will see this in detail again. What is uniformly distributed load and what is uniformly varying load? So basically here we have seen two types of load. If the load is acting at a particular point like point B and point C, it is called concentrated load or point load. And second case, if load is acting throughout the beam as shown in figure B, that is called distributed load. Again there will be different types of distributed load. Now we will see classification of beam. So first beam, now understand this you have numericals on this. Simply supported beam है first type, then second type है cantilever beam, इस पे numericals आते हैं, ठीक है? So understand this properly. First type is simply supported beam. Now what do you mean by simply supported beam? One side of the beam, one end of the beam, it is having hinge support, and other end of the beam has roller support. So if you see point A, it is hinge, meaning it will have two reactions, HA and VA, and other support, other end, point B, if you see, it has roller support, so it will have only vertical reaction. Okay, and here you can see F1, F2 and F3 is shown. These are acting at a single point, so these are point load or concentrated loads. So this is simply supported beam, when one end is supported by hinge support and other end is supported by roller support, that is called simply supported beam. So here you can see on the bottom side, this is a flyover or a footover bridge, or you can say metro bridge is there. So below that, this support you can see, this is simply supported beam. Okay, next type is called simply supported beam with overhang. Okay, now what is simply supported beam? One side we have hinge. Okay, so here you can see at point A we have HA and VA, at point B we have roller support. But since this is overhang beam, here you can see the beam, it is extending beyond point A, and here the beam is extending beyond point B. So that is why this is called simply supported beam with overhang. What is overhang over here? This part of the beam is overhang. Okay, next type, cantilever beam. Now what do you mean by cantilever beam? It is a beam having one end fixed and other end free. Okay, so here you can see this is fixed support. So in fixed support we have three reactions, HA, VA and moment about point A. Now why this moment about point A? It is there in anti-clockwise direction only. I have shown over here. Why? Because if you take moment about point A, keep your thumb at point A, keep your index finger at point B, rotate F2 in the direction of the arrow. So it is clockwise. So if this is clockwise, here moment should be anti-clockwise. That is the basic reason why I have shown moment in anti-clockwise direction. Okay. See, now when you are considering moment, obviously you have to take moment of this F1 force as well. Okay, but I am neglecting this F1 force, and suppose only we have this force. In that case, it is creating clockwise moment. That is why your reaction is anti-clockwise. Okay, so what do you mean by cantilever beam? One end is fixed and other end is free. So we will see some real life examples of cantilever beam. See the first example of cantilever beam. Here you can see a pole is there. Okay, and this is a horizontal rod, and here you can see traffic signal are attached. Okay, 3 signals are there, suppose, for example. So this is a support of this is one end is fixed. Okay, here it is fixed, and one end, if you see other end, it is free, and we have load on this beam. Okay, so this will be which type of support? It will be which type of which case? Cantilever case. Next, second diagram, if you see, this is balcony. Okay, and this balcony, it is fixed to this wall on one side and it is free on the other side. Okay, so that is why this is also example of cantilever beam. Next example, if you see, there is a wall and a staircase arrangement has been shown. Now this staircase, it is basically, if you see, it is coming out from this wall. Okay, it is not having support with respect to ground. Okay, it is hanging. Okay, so one end of this staircase, it is fixed, and other end of the staircase, it is free. So this will again be example of which beam? It will be cantilever beam. Okay, one end is fixed, other end is free. Next example, wing of the aircraft. Okay, so this is the body of the aircraft and this is wing, and here we have the engines are there, aircraft engines are there. Okay, so here again wing of the engine you can consider cantilever beam. Okay, one side is fixed and the tip of the wing, it is free, right? So this will be free end. So fixed end and free end. This wing of the aircraft, wings of stationary aircraft is example of cantilever beam. Now here one more question arises. Why it is written stationary aircraft, not moving aircraft? Because in moving aircraft there will be continuous vibration. Then next type of beam is continuous beam. Now continuous beam, here you can see point A, suppose this is point B, point C is there. Everywhere hinge support is there. One side we have roller support, and basically lot of supports are there and loads are acting. Okay, so a beam which has more than 2 support is called continuous beam, and this type of beam is statistically indeterminate because reactions cannot be obtained by equation of equilibrium, because here number of unknowns are more. Okay, and the condition of equilibrium, there are only 3 conditions: summation fx is 0, summation fy is 0, moment about point is 0. But we have so many unknowns, so this is statistically indeterminate because reaction cannot be obtained by equation of equilibrium. Next, compound beam. Now this compound beam, 2 beams are linked together by internal hinge. Okay, this hinge is internal hinge. Beams linked with internal hinges, here 2 or more beams are connected to each other by pin joint and continuous beam is formed. So if you see, this is continuous beam from outside, but there will be internal hinge. So this is called compound beam. Next, we have completed the types of beam. What are the types of beam? First type we have seen, simply supported beam. Second type, simply supported beam with overhang. Third type, cantilever beam. Fourth type was continuous beam, and fifth type, compound beam. Next we will see types of load which are acting on this beam. First type of load, it is point load, or it is also called concentrated load. If whole intensity of load is assumed to be concentrated at a point. So here you can see this load, it is acting at a point. So this is point load. So F1 is point load, F2 is point load. And this is which type of beam? One end is hinged and other end is having roller support. So it will be simply supported beam with point load. Next example, uniformly distributed load. It is also called UDL. Now in various ways UDL is given in the question paper. Okay, so if you see the numericals, this is one way in which a beam is shown A to B, and here you can see throughout the beam point load is shown. Okay, but this is called uniformly distributed load. The magnitude of the load is same. Okay, and it is uniformly distributed. Or you can see the second diagram like this. In this way also you can show uniformly distributed load. Now intensity of this uniformly distributed load, it is given by W Newton per meter. Okay, so this is the intensity of uniformly distributed load. Now how to get a point load? We have to basically convert this uniformly distributed load into point load. How to do that? We have to calculate area of this uniformly distributed load and it will act as centroid. Okay, so what is the area of this one? It is length of the beam multiplied by intensity of UDL, uniformly distributed load. So that load, it will act where? At the center of the rod. Why? Because UDL is what? It is rectangular, and for a rectangle its centroid is at center. Okay, and this center, it will be L by 2. So that is why here you can see we are converting this UDL into point load. What is the magnitude of this point load? It is W intensity of UDL multiplied by length, area of this rectangle basically, and where it will act? At the center of the beam. Okay, L by 2 from A and L by 2 from B. Okay, so here if you see what is the definition of UDL? Whole intensity of load is distributed uniformly along the length of the loading. So here you can see an example. Here a truck has been shown. Okay, and in this truck sand is filled, and if you see the level of the sand, okay, it is same. Okay, perfectly it is parallel with the road. Okay, so it will be a case of uniformly distributed load. So W Newton per meter is the intensity of this uniformly distributed load. So we can convert this uniformly distributed load into point load. How to do that? W multiplied by L, area of the rectangle, and it will act at the center of the rectangle. So L by 2. Okay, basically it will be the x distance of rectangle, half of the x distance of rectangle. Okay, so here one example is shown. Here a beam is shown A to B. Okay, and here you can see a rectangle is shown. So this will be uniformly distributed load, this part. Okay, and this part is also uniformly distributed load. So what will be the magnitude of this point load? It will be area of this rectangle 5 into 6. It will act at the center of this 6. Okay, so it is acting at 3 meter from point A. Okay, same thing if you see for this UDL, what will be the magnitude of this point load? UDL ka, how you will convert this into point load? 4 into 3 kilonewton. Okay, and what will be the distance? UDL, it is acting at a distance of 4 meters. So from point B, it will be at a distance of 2 meters, half of that, because you have to consider rectangle over here and centroid of this rectangle, x direction, it will be the length of the rectangle divided by 2. It's like that. Okay, so some example has been shown so that it will be clear. Next type, uniformly varying load. Okay, now if you see the examples given over here, UEL is what? The whole intensity of load is distributed uniformly at varying rate along the length of the loading. Okay, so two examples are shown. One example, a truck is there and sand, it is filled in this way. Okay, here you can see it is filled in this triangular way. Okay, this is one example. So this is example of uniformly varying load, UVL. Second example you can see of dam. Okay, now on the surface of the water, what is the pressure? It will be atmospheric pressure. But if you go inside the water at this location, what will be the pressure? It will be pressure up to this point, atmospheric pressure, plus the pressure of this water column. So as you go inside the sea, pressure of the water will increase. Okay, so that is why you can see over here, this is uniformly varying load. So on the bottom side, if you consider the seabed, there the pressure will be maximum. That is why here the force, you can see the length is maximum. And on the top side here you can see the force, it goes on decreasing, and on the top side we consider atmospheric pressure as 0, suppose for example. So here you will get a 0 force. So basically we are converting this pressure into force which is acting on the surface of the dam. Okay, this is the surface of the dam, and here it will be uniformly varying load. Okay, and as you go inside the water, pressure increases. That is why you cannot, if you decide you want to go to the seabed, okay, Arabian Sea, उसके seabed में जाना है, you cannot go directly. What will happen? पानी का pressure इतना रहेगा कि it will crush your body. That is why we go inside the sea, deep sea में जाना रहेगा, तो we have to use what? Submarine. That submarine, it is designed to handle the water pressure. Then only if you are designing it to handle the pressure, then only it will be able to withstand that pressure inside the water. Otherwise it will collapse under the pressure of the water. Okay, so that is why on the bottom side the force value, it is more, and on the top side it is 0. We are considering atmospheric pressure as 0, and as we go inside, this pressure value increases. So what is pressure? Force upon area. So how you will get force? Pressure into area. So you will get pressure into area, like this force you will get. Okay, now how to determine the intensity of this UVL, okay, and calculate the point load, that we will see. So this is the UVL acting on rod AB. Okay, so what will be the magnitude of this UVL? It will be area of this triangle. What is that? Half into base is length of the loading and height is load intensity W. So that will be what? The point load value in Newton. And what about the application? Now this is triangle. So CG, if you see, this is hypotenuse and this is opposite side. So this distance will be L by 3. So here you can see L by 3 is there, and from this vertex it will be 2/3 of L. Okay, so that is why if you consider the location of the magnitude of this point load, we are see, this is UVL. Huh? This triangular loading which you see, this is UVL. We are converting it into point load. How? Area of this triangle, half into length of loading into height, W, intensity of loading. Okay, then where it will act? At the centroid. Where is the centroid? From point B, L by 3, and from this point A, 2/3 of L. So we will stop over here. In next lecture, we will be solving numericals on beam. Okay, so where we have to use the concept of type of beam. Okay, what are the types? Simply supported, this one, then cantilever beam, then we will see different type of loading. Point load is there, and next is UDL, and last one is UVL. So based on this, we have to solve numericals on equilibrium in next lecture.